So how do you create histograms? Histograms are basically just graphs that represent data and using bars that allow you to more easily compare the frequency that data fits a certain criteria. So here's a table, and it's talking about the number of pages in each of the 6 books that Pedro read in the summer. So we're going to create a histogram. So the first, we're going to look at the bottom. Well, the vertical axis is for how many times each number of pages was represented. So the first the first range I can look at is from 0 to 150. So all I have to do is look at the table and find which of the numbers are between 0 and 150. Well, I see 44 is, and that's it. So there's only one page or one book that has between 0 and 150 pages. So between 150 and 300 pages, how many books have between 150 and 300 pages? 584, no. 201, yes. 312, no. 255, yes. 334, no. So 201 and 255 have between 150 and 300 pages. So that would be 2 books between 201 and 255. I'm sorry, between 150 and 300. How many books are between 300 and 450? Well, that's 1, 312, and 2, 334. There's 2. And then how many books are between 450 and 600? Well, the only one left is 584, and so there's only one book between 450 and 600 pages. So this is a symmetrical graph, just for future reference, but that's all you're doing. Next. Stanley makes paper constellations. The following data point represents how many stars were in each constellation he created. So we're going to use the data again to create a histogram. So this time we're talking about the number of constellations, and we're looking at the number of stars. So how many times did you have data between 0 and 5? So between 0 and 5, the only number here, there's a 4 right here, so that's 1, and that's it. So there's only one piece of data between 0 and 5. How many constellations had between 5 and 10 stars? Well, there's 7, so that's going to be 1. There's 2, and so there are 2 between 5 and 10. How many between 10 and 15? It's 12 and 12, just 12. There are 2 12s though, so that'll be 2. And then between 15 and 20, there is just 18, so that's 1. And then between 20 and 25, there's only 1, which is 24. And altogether, when you add them up, they should add up to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of data. 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, so I'm good to go. So below is the number of years that each of the 9 Omar's omelet operation locations have been open. So now we have some decimals, but the process doesn't change. How many locations were between 0 and 3 years old? Well, I see 5.2 is not, 7 is not, 10.5 is not, 2.6 is between 0 and 3, 2.9 is between 0 and 3, 1 and 1.5 are 2.6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations between 0 and 3 years old. How many between 3 and 6 years old? There's 1, 2. How many between 6 and 9? Just 1. How many between 9 and 12? Just 1. And altogether, there are 3, 6, 9 pieces of data. 5, 7, 8, 9. So that's really all you're doing. You're just going through the data and just counting how many of the data points that they asked you about are represented in that portion of the data presented. So hope that helps. Let's get it done.